The biggest mistake of my life wasn't failure. It was one word, just one simple word. Later. I said it every day, without thinking, without realizing what it was doing to my life. At first, it felt harmless, normal. Everyone says it. I'll start tomorrow. I'll do it later. There's still time. That's what I told myself, every single day. Wake up, scroll my phone, watch others living their lives, while I stayed exactly where I was. Comfortable. Too comfortable. Because comfort feels good. It feels safe. It feels easy. But what I didn't understand was this. Comfort is a trap. A silent one. Because it doesn't hurt immediately. It slowly destroys you. Day by day, habit by habit, excuse by excuse. I had dreams, big ones, plans, ideas, things I wanted to build. But every time I thought about starting, that voice came back. Not today. You're tired. Start tomorrow. And I listened. Every time. That was my pattern. Think big, do nothing. Repeat. Days turned into weeks, weeks turned into months, months turned into years. And nothing changed. Not my life, not my mindset, not my situation. Just time kept moving forward. And I stayed behind. At first, I didn't notice, because delay feels invisible. You don't feel it. You don't see it. But it's there, quietly stealing your future. Until one day, you wake up and realize you're not where you thought you'd be. That moment hit me hard, really hard. I was sitting alone, late at night, scrolling again, wasting time again. And suddenly, I stopped. I looked around. Nothing had changed. Same room, same life, same routine. And then I asked myself a question, a real one. What have you actually done? Silence. Because I had no answer, not one. No progress, no growth, no achievement, just plans, just ideas, just excuses. And in that moment, it hit me, harder than anything. You didn't fail. You never even tried. That realization broke me. Because failure hurts. But regret? Regret destroys you. Because you know you could have done more. You just didn't. And the reason was simple. One word. Later. That word cost me everything. Time, opportunities, growth, my future. All delayed. All wasted. Because I believed I had time. But time doesn't wait. It moves, with or without you. And that night, for the first time, I felt it. Fear. Real fear. Not of failure, but of staying the same. Because I saw my future clear, and it scared me. If I didn't change, nothing would change. Ever. And that's when I realized something. Later is a lie. And I had been living inside it. The next morning, nothing felt different. No motivation, no excitement, no sudden energy. Just resistance. Heavy resistance. My body didn't want to move. My mind kept saying, just rest. Start tomorrow. One more day won't matter. The same lies, the same voice, the same pattern. And for a moment, I almost listened again. Almost. But then I remembered something. That feeling from last night, that emptiness, that regret, and that fear. The fear of staying the same. And that fear was stronger than my excuses. So I got up, slowly, uncomfortably, without thinking too much, because I knew something important. If I think too much, I'll stop. So I moved. That was the first real change. Not a big action, not something impressive. Just a decision. To move, even when I didn't feel like it. And that's where most people fail. They wait to feel ready. But readiness never comes. You create it. Through action. Through discomfort. Through discipline. And discipline? It's painful. Very painful. Because you're fighting yourself. Every second. Every moment. Every decision. Your old habits pull you back. Your mind tries to convince you, this is too hard. This isn't you. Go back to comfort. And that's where the real battle is. Not outside, inside. Between who you are and who you want to be. Days passed, some good, some terrible. There were days I stayed focused, worked, pushed myself, felt proud. And then there were days I failed completely. Back to scrolling, back to wasting time, back to later. And those days hurt more. Because now I knew better. I knew what I was doing wrong. And still, I did it. That's the hardest part of change. Knowing the truth, but still struggling to follow it. But this time, I didn't quit. That was the difference. Before, one bad day was enough to stop. Now, one bad day was just a bad day. Not the end. Not failure. Just part of the process. And slowly, very slowly, something started changing. My focus improved. My mind became clearer. My actions became more consistent. Not perfect, but real. And that's when I understood something powerful. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to not quit. Because consistency beats motivation. Every time. Even when it's slow. Even when it's boring. Even when no one sees it. And over time, discipline became easier. Not easy, but easier. Because repetition builds identity. And identity changes everything. I was no longer someone who said, I'll start later. I was becoming someone who started, immediately, without excuses, without delay. And that shift was everything. But the journey wasn't over, not even close, because the hardest part was still coming. Months passed, and this time, they didn't feel wasted. They felt different, because I was different. Not completely, but enough to notice. The old version of me was fading. The one who delayed everything, the one who avoided effort, the one who lived in later. And in his place, something new was forming. Someone disciplined, someone focused, someone who acted. And the craziest part? No one noticed. No one celebrated. No one cared. Because real growth is silent. It happens in the background, in the small moments, in the decisions no one sees. Waking up early, working when you don't feel like it, choosing effort over comfort, again and again and again, until it becomes normal, until it becomes you. And one day, I realized something. I didn't need motivation anymore. I didn't need hype. I didn't need inspiration. Because I had something stronger. Discipline. And discipline doesn't ask how you feel. It tells you what to do, and you follow. No matter what. That's when everything changed. Not instantly, not dramatically, but steadily. Opportunities started appearing. Results started showing. Progress became visible. And for the first time, I felt proud. Not because I achieved something big, but because I changed. From the inside. And that's the real win. Because once you change yourself, your life follows. But then something hit me. A realization. A heavy one. All those years I wasted. All that time I lost. I couldn't get it back. No matter what I did now, it was gone. Forever. And that's when I understood the real lesson. Later is not harmless. It's dangerous. Because it steals your future without you noticing. Until it's too late. And most people, they never realize it. They keep waiting, keep delaying, keep saying, "I'll start tomorrow." Until one day, there are no tomorrows left. But if you're hearing this, you still have time. Right now. This moment. Because change doesn't start tomorrow. It starts when you decide. And if you don't decide, nothing changes. Just like it didn't for me, for years. So ask yourself, how many times have you said, later? And more importantly, what has it cost you? Because one day, you'll either say, "I'm glad I started," or, "I wish I did." And that choice is yours.